Call Ascension Parish Council meeting of December 2nd, 7th, 2006 to order. Mr. President, would you please lead us in prayer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Heavenly Father, as we pause tonight and give you praise, honor, and glory for the opportunities that we enjoy and the many blessings that we enjoy in our nation. We pray for those who lead us at the national, state, and local levels. We pray for the leaders of our municipalities within our parish, for the council, each member of this council and the individual needs, their families. We pray for those in our parish, especially during this Christmas season, that we'll recognize more freely and openly the needs of others, and to look beyond our own selves and to reach out in love and compassion. We realize we've been blessed greatly in this nation. We recognize those who have even sacrificed their life, even one from our own community this week who was killed in Iraq, and we pray for that family. Thou bless them in a special way. We pray thy blessing upon this meeting tonight, and all that we do will be for the good of Ascension Parish and our residents. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Son. Let the record reflect Mr. Hillenbeck is absent. Number 3, chair's addition. We do have 2/3 that I'm going to recommend to us, and that is calling an introduction of an ordinance accepting a donation of tract of land approximately 17 acres.
So moved,
Move
Mr.
to
Chairman.
amend the agenda.
Got a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. McConnell. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having the motion passes. We're going to put that under introduction of ordinance. We'll have that as 18A. All right, then, that's all I have. Number 4, public comments. Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign in up at the front desk here and give it to the secretary. Number 6, Parish President's report. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. As we heard in my prayer tonight, to my knowledge, is the first person from our parish who's actually been killed in Iraq, so we ask you to remember this family and your prayers. So it's heavy hearts that we all think about that. We understand that the price to defend freedom on this Pearl Harbor Day from 65 years ago sometimes requires the ultimate sacrifice, and so we all should be appreciative of one of our own who made this sacrifice on our behalf and on behalf of those citizens who are seeking freedom, and hopefully that conflict can be resolved shortly. We have someone here tonight we have several here from the LSU Extension Service. They're going to talk to you a few minutes, part of my report. Representing the group is Ms. Desiree, who is county agent now, I guess, in our parish. So if you'll come forward to the microphone, Desiree, and give your report.
Thank you very much, President Hughes. Okay. First, I'd like to say good evening. I am Desiree Dorest, the area horticulturist and parish chair for Ascension Parish. We the LSU Ag Center Cooperative Extension Service staff appreciate the opportunity to report to you on the work we've been doing throughout the year. We also thank you for your continuous support of the LSU Ag Center programs, which allow us to conduct quality and productive educational programs for all citizens of Ascension Parish in the areas of agriculture, horticulture, family and consumer science, and our 4-H club work. We've outlined some of our more successful programs for you in the LSU Ag Center profile brochure that is before you. In the area of agriculture, horticulture, I'm responsible for educational programs in home and lawn maintenance, fruit and vegetables, small farm crops, and office operations. Other LSU Ag Center agents who are available to residents of Ascension Parish are David Bourgeois, he's a fishery agent, Deborah Cross, FCS Workforce Development, Barton Joffrion, Forestry, Monica Olin, FCS Family Development, Lisa Arsamon, 4-H Regional Coordinator, Rick Luke, Sugarcane, and Thomas Hemel, Watershed. Dr. Steve Mullen of the LSU Ag Center is now our Regional Director for the South Central Crescent region. And as of now, I would like to introduce Ms. Cherie Fair.
Hi, I would like to thank you for your support for our programs. My area of programming that I'm responsible for deals with the area of family and consumer sciences. More specifically, we've done some nutrition programs. You'll see in there there's a Smart Bodies program that was done with 2,000 children and 3 schools are involved. And it's a wonderful program to teach children, well, basically skills and things to help them combat childhood obesity. Other things that I teach are financial programs. I see the library. Where did she go? I do a lot of programs at the library helping with financial literacy. We're trying to show folks how to reduce the debt that they have, pay down credit, manage it wisely, and do different programs like that. And they've been very popular, and they'll probably be real popular in January with everybody's resolutions. And the third thing that I've been really, really involved in lately is you've got the brochure for it. It's Louisiana House. And we've got some, if anybody else out here wants one. This is the LSU Ag Center Showcase House. It's open right now, so I want to encourage you to come on out. It's open in mid-construction on Fridays. I give tours to lots and lots of folks that go through. And it's basically it's showcasing different ways that people can build to resist hurricanes, to resist flooding, termites, impact-resistant building techniques, things like that. It's built with 4 different foundation systems, 4 different building construction techniques. It's meant to offer people choices so that they can see and they can actually come up and touch it or kick the tires, as they say when they refer to it in cars. But it's a wonderful educational opportunity, and it's really needed nowadays. We've also been involved in coordinating with other folks to get some educational programs to teach consumers on why they need to choose these things and why they need to expect them in the homes that are being built, and to help get our builders up to speed too. We've been working with a lot of them. But I do want to thank you for all the support that you've given our programs. And excuse me. Next is Michelle Shahan. She's our 4-H agent, one of our 2 4-H.
Good evening. I just want to, again, from a 4-H standpoint, thank you for the support that you have given our program. We utilize the facilities at Lamar Dixon for livestock shows, for contests that we hold, for trainings that we hold, and it's very helpful to have that facility to us. It helps strengthen our 4-H program so that we have places to hold things and where people can come and it's easy for them to get to. One of the big things that we started using Lamar Dixon for this year is our shooting sports program that we have here in the parish. We've had a shooting sports program for 3 years now, and in those 3 years we have increased membership in that program from 3 to over 50. 4-H members, and they have the opportunity to go to state events. And so that's just one really wonderful example of what we're using Lamar Dixon for. And I just want to thank you for your support, and I'm going to let Mr. Dwayne Nunez, my co-worker, come up to the microphone and address you.
Thank you, Michelle. I also work with the 4-H program in Ascension Parish, as well as the adult animal science, mainly beef cattle production in the parish. I'm also in charge of managing the state livestock show and the state horse show that take place each spring and in the summer. Just here tonight to thank you for providing us help with our salaries, our office space, the facilities that we use on the parish level to conduct the activities. Our programs would not be as successful as they are in the parish of Ascension were it not for the support of both you, Mr. Hughes, and the council members themselves. So on behalf of the LSU Ag Center office, I'd like to thank you for your support of our organization. And I'd encourage each of you, if you have any questions, comments, any way you think we could better serve the parish of Ascension, please feel free to contact us at any time. We encourage it and welcome any comments. And I thank you. And do you have any questions for us?
Anyone has any questions? All right. Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next part of my report, just a real brief on the, we don't want to get any of you out on Thanksgiving, but we did have a delegation that was brought in by the Synfuel Corporation Thanksgiving morning. We had about 17 folks from the Republic of China that visited with us, and we did sign some, I guess you call them 20 townships agreement in Parish. And so now we have an official invitation to visit Shanyang Township of the Jinsong District of the city of Shanghai, China. And so we hope to return that visit sometime early spring. In addition, just an update on what I guess everybody calls it a secret project, but Project Compass is about as secret as a lot of things. It's like the media finds out about it and everybody else. But this, in the meeting I was with just prior to coming here tonight, I was told that this project in a very close neighboring parish is about 50% probability of coming to our area. And it could be 3,000 to 4,000 jobs. And so just give you a brief report on that as we think about planning for next year. And the process of, we also met with a company today to help us find an urbanized planner to get involved for next year in this whole process of planning. The company, I met with the economic development gentleman from the state office this afternoon on both of these projects a little bit, as well as the firm involved with Project Compass. And so both of those are very promising. So, Mr. Chairman, we need for you to be thanking the council. If you'd like some members of the council to also make that trip to Shanghai and looking at the cost for that, and we'll look for some corporate sponsors to help pay for that if that's acceptable. In addition, we just want to bring to your attention, if you remember, the state legislature passed this past summer a new ordinance that pertains to many public buildings outside of government, restaurants, etc. That ordinance goes into effect January 1st. That's state law. We've asked Don Heiss, our chief administrative officer, I've tasked him to work with our legal team, with Mr. Babin, to make sure that our brief smoking ordinance is not out of kilter with the new state law that takes place January 1st. And so 2 weeks from tonight, hopefully they'll have if any changes need to be made to our ordinance, they'll have that for you to look at. If you need copies of both, please get with us. The state ordinance, the state law is a lot more lengthy than the present ordinance that we have. And this will pertain to privately owned businesses. And so it's important that all they become aware of this and our citizens become aware of this. And that date is January 1st, 2007. It will take effect in the state. Something we didn't put on the agenda because we wasn't sure if it was happening. I've been to the legislature meeting with several of them the last couple of weeks. We need the help of all of us. if the special session begins and continues tomorrow. The numbers came out. I had a meeting with the Joint Transportation Committee of the Senate and the House this week and pleaded with them not to put a chicken in every pot. The actual number of surplus dollars is probably closer to $2.5 billion instead of 1.5 or 6 when you take last year's surplus. And when you hear the news media talking about the surplus of 1.5 or 1.6 billion, that's just since July 1st of this year, as I understand it, in this current fiscal year. But last fiscal year that ended June 30th is somewhere between 800 and 900 million, it looks like. And so there was talk about every parish getting a road project, and I pleaded with them that that's not what needs to happen. That we really need to look at the growth and development areas of the state that have been impacted significantly where transportation is a major issue. And the Department of Transportation Development was in that meeting. And we need all of you to help us there, your Transportation Committee, because when you start talking about $2.5 billion, hopefully we can get some significant dollars in our transportation system on these state roads in our parish. It's an opportunity that we probably will not have again in our lifetime on how this money is being spent. And it needs to be spent primarily in areas of non-recurring expenses and capital improvements. And our parish obviously has great need on state roads for capacity projects. And so we ask that all of you contact our legislators, work with them. If you have time to get up to the special session, if it goes for the entire 10 days, we all need to have input in that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Number 7, consent agenda, adopt the November 2nd, 2006 minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Valentine. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. 7-2, adopt November 16th meeting of 2006.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr.
Second.
Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Valentine. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 8, it's time for election of officers for 2007. At this time, I'm going to, it's been 3 years since I've held the office. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I appreciate the support that was given to me to give me the opportunity to serve this council for 3 years. But I feel like it's time for me to sit back and let someone else have an opportunity to take chairmanship. And one other thing is I've missed very much is debating issues, so I look forward to going back to debating issues. So with that, I will open up nominations for chairmanship.
I'll nominate Martin McConnell.
We got Mr. Martin McConnell.
I nominate George Valentine.
We got George Valentine. Is there any more nominations? No more closed nominations. We'll vote on Councilman McConnell. We'll take a roll call vote. Mrs.
Mr. Chairman, we're voting on
Mr. Martin McConnell for chairman for 2007.
Would it be easier if you just expressed your choice and we went down like that? Rather than a yes or no? I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, it's your show.
What roll call, Ms. Suzanne? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Joseph.
Yes.
Councilman Chase Snyder.
No.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fontenot. No. Councilman Dempsey Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
No.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
No.
Councilman Barrow.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman,
Ma'am.
do the nominees vote
Yes.
Chairman, do you wish to vote?
I vote no.
4 yeas and 6 nays.
We'll move to Mr. Valentine. We'll simple vote this. Is there any opposition to Mr. Valentine having chairmanship of council 2007? Having none, Mr. Valentine, congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Savoy, Chairman Savoy. Appreciate the opportunity to move the parish forward as far as the legislative body is concerned in 207. I think there are going to be a lot of challenging issues that we will face, and hopefully we can come to an agreement on most all those issues, and that we have a successful year. As past president has said, a lot of opportunities for this parish being south of Baton Rouge, and the legislative to gain some transportation funds, which are most needed in our parish. I appreciate the opportunity to serve this parish. Thank you, sir.
We open up nominations for vice president, vice chair.
I nominate you, Mr. Sutherland, the vice president, and I thank you for the past 3 years of leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Fine. Is there any more?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Joe.
That Mr. Joe's nomination? I'm sorry, Mr. Oh,
Decline.
Decline, okay. Any more?
I move the nomination to be closed.
Nomination be closed. Mr. Salvo, take the vice chair. All right, moving on. Number 9, Utilities Committee report, Mr. Byron.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Number 10, Personnel Committee, Mr. Valentine.
Thank you, Chairman Savoy. We had some interviews that took place dealing with Fire Protection District number 1 and some renewals. The first renewal, the Personnel Committee recommends the renewal of Mr. Benny Johnson.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Tyler Lambert.
Second.
Second, I'm sorry, by Mr. McConnell. Is there any opposition? One objection, Mr. Byron. Motion passes.
Second recommendation is for Mr. Charles A. Barron.
Motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert, second by Mr. Tyler Lambert. Is there any opposition?
Object.
Mr. Byron object. Motion passes.
Number 2, the appointment of West Ascension Parish Hospital Service District. This is to fill the unexpired term of a dear friend of mine, Mr. Willard Berg, and of course many of you here in Johnsonville. The Board of Directors of West Ascension Hospital recommending Mr. John Morshaw.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Ms. Fontenot. Before we vote, I do have an individual in the audience wishing to speak on this particular issue, Mr. Kerry Williams.
Good afternoon. I want to say to Mr. Jerry Ronnie Hughes, I did talk to Mr. Valentine Friend, and he did say he was very happy to serve as the West Ascension Hospital Board. As I was saying, I passed by there this afternoon on my way to the hospital, and I see a lot of people out there waving and not doing nothing right. It's your responsibility, Mr. Jerry, that whoever be the person that does the job, it's their responsibility to do their job. I had a lot of phone calls came to me and said they're not doing their job, Councilman. It's just not fair for District 1. That's my comment. Thank you.
Is there any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes.
Chairman, there was one other item that we discussed. We did not take a vote on it, but we came to a consensus, and I want to place on the agenda for the next board meeting ACUD #1 board membership. Put my name by it. That's all. That's my report.
All right. Number 11, Recreation Committee. Mr. Alden? You had anything?
No, just wanted to, we did have a meeting, and on Wednesday, we did have the opening of the Santa Mall Nature Trail walking. It went very well, and that's all I had for that meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Alden.
All right.
And number 12, Transportation Committee. Ms. Fontenot.
Thank you, Councilman Sawyer. I'll turn it over to our DPW Director, Bill Rue.
Transportation Committee met and had the following recommendations. Number one, draft a resolution to the governor and the legislature recommending that they go along with the DOTD's recommendation to add the $10 million from priority two spending projects and add $5 million for the priority 5 spending projects and any other infrastructure needed to the request to their request for surplus monies for the Parish of Ascension for the Highway 42 project.
So moved. Motion by Mr. Byriger.
Second.
Second by Ms. Fontenot. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Item number 2 is a resolution to DOTD to put an intersection on Old Jefferson Highway at Old Perkins Highway. That's LA 427. That's a center lane turn going on to Old Perkins off of Old Jefferson Highway.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Byriger, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Item number 3 is acceptance of the 75-foot extension of Summerfield North Road into the parish maintenance system.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert. Second by Mr. Byriger. Is there any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Item number 4 is a resolution placing a weight limit on Pierce Road, and actually to read, no truck over 10 tons empty weight except for local deliveries.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Item number 5, and it's quite lengthy. There's a number of roads from subdivision roads has been we need to accept into the parish maintenance system. They have been inspected, and they do pass inspection by Department of Public Works. We recommend acceptance into the maintenance system of the following roads: Waterfoot Lakes, First Filing; St. Marie Avenue, Maywood Drive; Carlin Avenue; Artie Drive, end of First Filing, end of Third Filing; Christina Avenue, Lennox Drive; Plantation Creek Subdivision, Plantation Creek Drive; Windermere Avenue, Chris Mill Avenue, Heritage Court, Afton Court; Bayou View at State, Second Filing, North Bayou View Drive, South Bayou View Drive, Cajun Bayou Avenue, and Old Bayou Avenue; Rosemount Subdivision, Orchid Avenue, Rosemount Drive, Tulip Hill Avenue, Evergreen Drive, Blossom Trail Drive, Cherry Creek Drive; Cypress Ridge Subdivision, Cypress Ridge Drive, Cypress Place Avenue, Cypress Port Drive, Cypress Trace Avenue, and Cypress Turn Avenue; Legacy Hill Subdivision, Legacy Hills Drive, Legacy Court; Cypress Cove Subdivision, Cypress Alley Avenue, Cypress Lake Drive; Lake Meadows Subdivision, Lake Meadows Court; Manchac Place, 8th Filing, West Pine Grove Court, East Pine Grove Court, South Pine Grove Court; Cross Creek Subdivision, First Filing, Part 2, Cross Creek Place; Old Dutchtown, Second Filing, Dutchtown Crossing Avenue, Babin Mill Drive, and Mill Park Avenue; Retreat at Ascension Subdivision, Retreat Lane; Bluff Meadows Subdivision, Bluff Meadows Drive; Pelican Point, 11th Filing, Breeze Point, Breezeway Drive, and Breeze Court; Manchac Place, 6th Filing, Part 2, Edgewood Drive, Maplewood Avenue, River Birch, Pinehurst Drive, Midway Avenue, Pine Ridge Drive, and Green Meadow. Recommend acceptance into the parish maintenance system.
We're going to take them up all at one time unless anyone has a specific road that they would like to pull for discussion. Otherwise,
Mr. Rue, they all kosher?
They're all good.
Problems on any of them?
Yes, sir. They've all been inspected and passed inspection.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert. Second by Ms. Fontenot. Is there any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
That's all I have.
Yours is longer than my whole agenda, Bill.
This past year, we have completed several projects. We've completed Parker Road. We've completed Boudreaux Road Phase 1. We have also completed some turn lane, Phase 1 of the intersection improvements, and Phase 2 Swamp Road at Airline, Duplessis Road at 73, and Bayou North Sis at 431. We've completed those designs. We have also completed a master road list to accompany the half-cent sales tax. One of the things that I wanted to bring to this council tonight is we talked about it at the Transportation Committee, that turn lanes are very inexpensive to do, and they help move traffic. So therefore, I'm requesting that each councilman, if you have a turn lane that would make a difference in your particular district, that you get with Mr. Rue and turn it in so that we can begin trying to find some good turn lanes with some of the extra money that we're getting with the sales tax. And as always, I ask the citizens of Ascension Parish, it's the holiday season. Don't drink and drive. Be careful on the highways. Thanks for the good year that we've had this year. And that concludes my report.
I got a question, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Thompson.
What's the status on Highway 44 from I-10 to the river?
Mr. Kent Israel is here, probably could give you that.
They've been moving utilities and
They're still, it's been pushed back a little bit more right now. They still have some problems, the right-of-way and redesign of the bridge. So I think, Councilman Shakener, do you know any more?
Mr. Shakener.
I inquired about that to the legislative delegation, and they assured us that it was still on time and that it was going to be let at the end of November. And we're here in December now, and apparently it's been delayed, but no one knows. So we're waiting still.
I think we need to quit doing turn lanes on state roads and stuff like that until they start repairing some of our roads in this parish that really, really need maintenance. When it rains, Highway 44 from the interstate to the river is so dangerous you don't want to drive on it. It's a death trap, and I think we need to send letters, need to do whatever it takes to push the state to move on that.
Comment that, now I just talked to Mr. Israel, it's been pushed back to January again, and that's not definite. The main reason is the right-of-way issues along near the bridge and in some other places. So again, when they get into right-of-way issues on these roads, they're hung up a little bit.
I mean, this has been going on for 8 years. I mean, I think people are tired of listening about, you know, like they didn't know that they were going to need right-of-way over there. This thing has been approved for a long period of time. Maybe they need to look for any other help or assistance or anything, but every time we inquire about it, everybody gets all upset that everybody's inquiring about it, and people have had enough of this. And it's time to build the road. And whatever we need to do to transfer that to our state delegation, we do. I mean, I've made phone calls to each of them. I've been to Baton Rouge a number of times and met with all of the state officials that are involved in that. And a couple months ago, the last time, they assured me with all of their information that they were going to be on time. So I would like to at least inquire and find out why and some names so that we can call and send out names to people so that the constituents that have been waiting so patiently all these years can start calling.
We have a transportation meeting next week. We'll have a full report.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Also, would you send a letter to Representative Kazare and also Senator Almade about that issue with Highway 44 from the interstate to the river?
if I could comment, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President.
We sent a letter to the governor as well as DOTD a few weeks ago outlining about 6 state roads that are in terrible condition. And since courtesy copies of those letters to each member of our legislative delegation, met with DOTD, met with the Joint Transportation Committee of the Senate and the House this week. Citizens along that corridor have sent letters. you guys have another suggestion on what we can do, met with Jerry Luc LeBlanc Monday, 2 weeks ago, with Senator Amade, Commissioner of Administration, who really has a lot to do with how the money's spent. I quite honestly don't know what else to do. I mean, you go to the governor, you go to Mr. Bradbury, and you go to the legislators. So we've taken care of the executive branch and the legislative branch numerous times in 3 years. Kent and I have been speaking to Pelican Point since we've taken office. They were told, they were promised, like Kent said 8 years ago, the road was going to be improved. So I don't know what else to do. So if any of you have a suggestion other than what we have done, I don't know what else to say, y'all. I mean, we've worked that issue along with every other state road, and I will try to find out who the right-of-way problem is with, so we can personally talk to those people. And try to get that going along. But as you know, that was going to be a 4-lane extension, then it was going to be a 3-lane. Now it's just a 2-lane, basically improvement, and a couple of the light has been put in at Pelican Point. So, and they have put the fiber optic way off the right-of-way now. I think most of that's been finished along with Ascension Water, but that project was supposed to have been led in July of 2004 when we first took office. Then it was pushed back to October. Then it was pushed back to July of 2005, October of 2005, October of 2006, January of 2006. I think I got all the dates right. Now we're here tonight, January of 2007. So we apologize to the citizens, but parish government and local government can only do so much on these state roads without having just a lot of money to go do it ourselves. And I've been assured for 35 months now it's going to be done, and it has not been done. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else, Mr. Thompson? Mr. McConnell.
I would like a status report, please, on the overlaying project of Lake Park subdivision in Brittany. That was in the 2005 road project. Today is December 7th, 2006. I received letters from the engineering firm and from the construction firm dated in August that they were getting ready for the overlay. It's December. They were promised these roads beginning in July of 2005. It is December 2006. If that's the third time I'll say it, maybe I'll say it a fourth. It's December 2006. This is the 2005 road project. This ain't a state road. These are all local roads, and they're crappy. When are they going to get overlaid in Lake Park subdivision? I want a date. When?
We had a meeting
This is
today.
outrageous.
We had a meeting today. Number one, let me state the fact that we're going to change the numbering system on the road projects. We've been putting numbering system on when they were chosen by the council and went to engineering. Engineering sometimes, and in this case, takes 6, 7 months, maybe even more. It gets into the next year, and it gives the misconception that now we've been waiting for a year and a half, for the 2005. Actually, that's just the date it was initiated. It didn't even go to bid until this year.
We approved it in April.
That's right.
April.
But still, it didn't go to bid until this year. Number two, we had a meeting today. We had some problems with floor light roads. We had to resolve that issue. The BKI and RJ Daigle is going to give us an updated list, priority list, and dates when the rest of the roads can be done by tomorrow, and we're going to take that to the Transportation Committee Tuesday. So I can't give you that because I don't have it yet. I'll have it by tomorrow.
Well, it's just that these are not state roads. These are parish roads. We do have control over that. We can say what roads get done. I mean, Bill, we approved that contract. We let that bid. We approved R.J. Daigle in April of 2006. It's December 2000. That's 5 times.
And they're still, they're councilmen, they're still within their contract dates. They choose the dates they're going to do the different roads. That's their schedule as per contract. We don't choose the dates of which one's going to do first or which one we're going to do last. The R.J. Daigle, in this case, the contractor sets the schedule. As long as he stays within the start date and end date, that's totally up to him, so we don't have too much power over that. This is just chosen by the contractor to do as the last part of his contract, and we have very little control over it. But again,
However,
I will
Mr. Rue,
have,
if he's having
Yeah.
difficulties in other parts of this road project, and obviously he can't complete them, instead of having idle time, why can't he move into those areas that he can complete?
he is working. He's completing jobs. He's working on jobs right now.
And I'm not calling, the Daigle firm is fine. I have no problems with R.J. Daigle. They've always done us an excellent job, and they've always done as promised. But this is just really wearing thin.
Again, Councilman, we cannot comment too much about that until he goes past his date, his completion date.
Which is?
Then, you know what that date is? Early January. So, again, until he gets to past early January completing it, we have very little say-so to say he's behind, because he's not. It just so happened that this is one of the last roads of the project as per his schedule.
I understand.
So that's all we can do about it. But again, I will have some definite dates on when he's going to finish the end of his contract, the roads that's left, and that should be coming to us within a day, and we'll report at the Transportation Committee.
Thank you.
Chairman. Mr. President.
Bill mentioned fluoride, guys, and that's a lot of the problem here, so I really need to understand. I met with Mr. Daigle personally the other day, met with URS, Bill, and sometime in the past, a lot of the parish roads, fluoride was used as part of the base. Mr. Daigle told me when he went in to start a road, they'd get into that problem, and it's very expensive for him to set up equipment and move it, so then they go to another road and they find fluoride on that road. So there has been some discussions, negotiations, deliberations between engineers, parish engineer, public works, Mr. Daigle, the people who does the soil testing.
A lot of other engineers knew there was fluoride on those roads.
And
Already knew that.
Hopefully this body will never use fluoride again in these roads. Now, 2 weeks from tonight, you'll get a report from URS on some improvement standards, adding standards to our road system to make them hopefully last longer, may cost more up front, but they're looking at the standards in other parishes in the area as well as other areas of the country. On parish roads, as connector roads, as well as our subdivision road. One of the things I've talked to you about now for 35 months has been we're having roads, you saw a long list tonight, we accepted into the system, and what's happening is some of these roads, by the time first filing of a new community is finished and all that traffic on the first part of that road's in bad shape by the time they start working in the back. And also we're trying to look at a way to either extend that road maintenance bond for more than a year or more stricter standards on constructing these roads so they will hold up. And so I've asked URS a month or so ago to make a report under my report on the second meeting in December, so just get you guys thinking about some things. You send it to whatever committee you want to, between transportation and strategic planning, to talk about some stricter standards for road construction. And we're going to have some, I imagine we're going to have some people talking, and it's going to be an interesting discussion with developers and all. But that's something we need to look at very seriously. So please prepare yourselves to think in that direction as we enter 07, so that we can really try to avoid some of these problems we're dealing with now going forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chase-Knight.
A couple of things, Mr. Chairman. I'm a little in the dark here on, don't we pay testing companies to come in ahead of time to test these roads? And when we have these roads, don't we have the records from the last time it was overlaid as to what was, Mr. Rue, what was put down as a base?
Yes, sir. But we know a lot of the roads have some fluoride in it. We know most of the roads that has that. We can tell by the damage or the deterioration of the surface. The fact of the matter, they do come in and take core samples, but take it at certain intervals. Many times, especially on this project here, they took the samples and showed very little fluoride where they took the samples. Once they started taking the road base up between where they took the core sample, because they can't take it every 5 feet, that's where they show piles or a heavier collection of fluoride. And that's when the issue came up, what we're going to do. Because if it showed it only had 3 inches or 5 inches at one location, another location might be 10 inches that we didn't know about. But as of today, we have resolved the issue of floor light and what we're going to do on these roads of this project. And it's a good resolution. It's a combination between URS, DPW, and the contractors. And we're going to bring it to the Transportation Committee Tuesday for acceptance. It's a change order, but it's actually a reduction in a lot of the cost of the project. So, but that has been resolved, and we should be moving forward fairly quickly on all the roads, including the floor light roads.
Well, we might think about, from now on, we know which ones are the floor light roads, maybe do a little more testing on them than we do on the others to get a little bit better background. And then the other thing is that, Mr. President, the last 2 years we've been having transportation meetings and been discussing and asking for recommendations, from subdivision ordinances and DPW for stricter standards on these things and extension of the bond. And just give us a recommendation, because we do recognize that. So we've been in discussions for the last 2 years on this, and so we're just waiting for recommendations now as to how to best move forward.
I could respond.
Yeah, Mr. President.
That's what URS is going to be doing in a couple of weeks, y'all. And then, in addition, another area that we discovered, and I'm not sure if we're consensus yet, and you guys have to talk about this as well, but one of the things that was brought to my attention that whenever we hire an engineer for a specific road project, we're really dictating to that engineer which soil companies they're going to use. They're not hiring those. You guys, I think, selected 3 of them, and I think that's a problem as I talk on this. And so we need to address that. You need to address that in your Transportation Committee. You need to address it at the Council. To me, when you hire someone to build with this road project, they need to have the ability and the power to manage that project and to hire themselves and soil testing people. That way they're accountable to them. We're in the middle of this now because we're dictating sometimes that these 3 vendors are the ones that we're going to use on road projects for soil testing. And to me, we need to let the engineers do that so they're accountable to that engineer. So this is something we're talking with URS on as well, on how do we do this, and all of this will be discussed with you in 2 weeks, okay? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Byron.
do we have problems with soil testing engineer? I hadn't heard any. I mean, this is the first I hear of it. Is there a problem? I mean, did the soil testing people do the wrong job, or
We have several.
are they not accountable?
We have several soil testing firms, and basically the same ones in Baton Rouge, this local area. The way we worked it, we have a task order contract with all engineering firms and soil testing firms. What we do is pick one of them, but they're under the authority, under the control of the managing engineer. He reports to the managing engineer. They do the testing as per the contract specifications. And the reports go back to the design engineer with a copy to us and to URS. We can give, we don't have a problem even bringing on more soil testing firms with a task order contract and allow the contractor to pick them. Because
is there a problem with soil testing people right now?
I haven't heard of a problem with them, but URS, I can talk to URS and see if they had any internal problems.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Yeah, Bill, on the floor light roads that are milled, can you make sure that they get a list of how R.J. Daigle is going to go in and overlay these roads?
Well, I can go ahead and let you into the resolution that was made today on floor light roads. And really what we're going to recommend for future roads, anything that's not a highway connector, any local roads, very small dead-end streets, basically large driveways going to a local area, unless we absolutely have to, the only thing we're going to do is overlay. We're not going to fool with the base at all. And that way we can preserve the base and seal the top and give a lot of life out of that road. We spend a little bit of money, and that's going to be a maintenance item that we're going to do. 2 or 3 or 4 little projects throughout the year, constantly doing that while we're doing the major. Now, we get on a major collector, a lot of traffic count on it. Well, then we're probably looking at taking all the floor light up, all the dirt up, and placing fresh fill in their place, and then we have a good road. But again, it's not beneficial to the parish to spend that much money on a small local street. It's better to just go through there and top it, do maybe a light milling or a leveling course, and come back with your final course on top. And that's what we're recommending, and all of us is in agreement. All the engineers and the contractor is in agreement that this is the proper way to go. And we can move a lot quicker on most of these roads.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Ms. Fonda?
That's all.
That's
Mr.
it?
Sutherland.
Moving right along, number 13, Strategic Planning Committee. Mr. Shea Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did not have a quorum for the meeting Monday, and so we have rescheduled the meeting for the 13th at 2 p.m. at Courthouse East. I mean, at 6 p.m., I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Number 14, Finance Committee. Mr.
Finance
McConnell.
Committee meets next Thursday.
Number 15, Acceptance of Bids. Ms. Bonnie Burrell, Purchasing Agent.
Good evening. On November 16th, we accepted bids for River Silt. The low bid was DPN Incorporated.
So moved. Second.
Second. Motion by Mr. Byrick, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passed.
We also accepted bids on treated bridge material. The low bid was from Bayou Forest Products Incorporated.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Byrick, second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
We also accepted bids on metal culverts. Sorrento Lumber was the low bid.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Motion by Mr. Byrick, second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
We accepted bids on bunker gear for Fire District Number 3. Ferrara Fire was the low bid.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Motion by Mr. Byrick, second by Mr. Thompson. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burrell. Number 16, Orange Grove Conceptual Plan, flood conditions, Mr. Lance Brock.
Mr. Chairman, I will recuse myself from this.
Mr. Brock?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, back in September, there was conditions put upon. This came before you for conceptual plan approval, and back in September, there were some conditions that were put on them. Right now, they're coming in writing with those conditions, and these are the conditions that they agreed upon, which are the ones that we discussed that night. And they agree to do all those conditions that were stated at that meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion by Mr. Byrick. Do I hear a second? Second. Second by Mr. McConnell. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Brock.
Thank you.
Number 17, appeal for job reinstatement for Carl Christie. Mr. Byrick.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Christie contacted me and wished to appeal for reinstatement of his job to the council. And I think it would be in order to ask Mr. Christie, if it's all right with you, if he'd like to go in executive session or do it in public, or maybe we'll ask legal how we need to do it.
Ricky, does Mr. Christie have an option?
He's got a right to go in executive session to discuss a matter of character, competence, physical, or mental health. If it's for the status, simply as my understanding is his removal was for an item not in conjunction with any of those. So technically, I don't even think you can go in executive session on this particular one.
Okay.
Character, competence, mental or physical health of the employee is the exception to the public hearing. Excuse me, to go into executive session. I don't think any of those necessarily apply.
Okay. All right, Mr. Christie, you want to approach the council?
Yeah, good evening. I didn't hear you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm back on bringing up the case about my trying to get my job back.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Valentine.
maybe the parish president administration, we as council members I don't have anything in front of me, anything with the case. I have no idea what this is about. And it makes it kind of difficult for me to sit here and, I guess, rule on Mr. Christie's case. I don't have any information. I don't know, Mr. Babin, would it be in order for us to go over? I mean, is Mr. Christie's, is it his responsibility to just plead his case?
It's his case, yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, I can give you the facts as I know them.
I guess my point is, Mr. Christie pleads his case, what's the other side? Who's going to present our side? When I say our side, the parish's side.
I'll tell you the facts.
Okay.
We have a rule in the Parish of Ascension that anyone who's charged with a felony is put on leave without pay. Upon conviction of the felony, you are automatically discharged, retroactive to the date of the charging.
Okay.
There was this gentleman pled guilty to negligent homicide, which is a felony. So that's the issue.
Anyone has any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I would
Mr. Thompson.
recuse myself.
Okay. What's the wishes of the council?
Well, Mr. Christie, would you like to say anything else, or?
What's the wishes of the council?
I move to reinstate, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion by Mr. Byringer to reinstate Mr. Christie. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
You got a second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Is there any opposition to the motion?
Discussion, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. McConnell.
I don't know. Did I hear correctly? He pled guilty to a felony. What was the felony again? Negligent homicide, to which he pled guilty. Our policy clearly states that a person convicted of or pleading guilty to a felony is automatically discharged. Then I'm going to have to oppose I apologize to Mr. Christie. I don't know him nor his family or the circumstances, but if our policy states that, then Mr. Christie was terminated for cause, and I can't support the reinstatement based upon that. I'm sorry.
Any further discussion?
I'd just like to clarify, Mr. Chairman. I mean,
Mr.
Christie didn't injure someone with a gun or anything, and there was a car accident, and someone died in the car accident. There was no alcohol involved or anything of that sort. I just want to add a little bit more to what the charges were. It was an accident.
Ms. Fontenot.
Then you're saying that we have absolutely no one in the parish working that has felony? I'm just asking, I mean.
Is there any further discussion? Is there any opposition to the motion?
I have to oppose.
All right.
Oppose.
Let's see a show of hands. Opposed. 5-3. Motion fails. All right. Moving on, number 18. Introduction of an ordinance to set franchise fees at 5%. Ascension Parish water franchise. Mr. Diaz. Do I hear a motion to?
I'm not Mr. Diaz. This is simply the This is the tag-along ordinance. This actually invokes the franchise fee. We have to do that by ordinance. The franchise agreement's already been approved by you. This only invokes the fee.
Move to introduce. Second.
Motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 18A, which is introduction of an ordinance accepting donation of land, tract of land, approximately 17.74 acres.
Motion introduced.
Motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 19, zoning review ID 1613.06, portion on Lot D and Tract C1 of the John K. Marchand property, a portion of Tract C2B1 of the Sylvia G. LeBlanc property, all of Tract C2B2 of the Gonzalez Family LLC property, and all of Tract C2B3 of the Financial Holding Group of Louisiana properties for Delta Buildings. This is for review only. Number 20, have a public hearing to revoke a portion of the 15-foot public drainage servitude on the rear of Lot 2A of the Lennis Dukes Senior Estate property and the Helen Johnson property. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Mr.
I'm sorry, point of order. Do we not normally read this before we open the public hearing?
Ricky needs to read it.
Mr. Ballard.
Just a point of order.
Not depressed, huh?
Ordinance says to revoke a portion of the existing 15-foot public drainage servitude on the rear of Lot 2A of the Dennis Lewis Senior Estate property and Helena Johnson property, since the servitude is not being used for any purpose. Drainage in future Lot 27 Helena Place subdivision is designed to drain surface drainage to the streets, which will eliminate the need for the existing portion of the 15-foot public drainage servitude. Be ordained by the Ascension Parish Council as governing authority for the Parish of Ascension to Louisiana in lawful session. Hereby revoke that portion of the 15-foot public drainage servitude as shown on the exhibit map prepared by Parish Engineering and Survey that was dedicated on Lot 2A, Dennis L. Lewis Senior Estate property and Helena Johnson property located in Section 2031, Township 8 South 23, Southeastern Land District of Louisiana, east of the Mississippi River, prepared by W.J. Quintamon Jr. Said servitude being more particularly described as follows: a portion of the existing 15-foot public drainage servitude lying along the rear or easterly portion of Lot 2A, Dennis L. Luke's estate property and Helena Johnson property. The above servitude contains 2,855.7 square feet or .066 acres more or less, and is more particularly described on the aforementioned map as attached here to and made a part hereof.
Now I'm moving to open the public hearing.
Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Byregger, to open the public hearing. Is there any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this public hearing?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Byregger, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 21, the ordinance itself.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Mr. Byregger. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Byregger to adjourn. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.